Hmm. Atlanta Housewives, season 13, episode 3. Now, Drew, I don't know if you and your husband doing this for the show, but if you in trouble, I need you to hold up one finger for yes and two fingers for no. Because Ralph, he done got out of hand. And you letting him. Let's talk about it. So the episode opens up talking about Portia and her activism. Ooh, look at my eyelash, y'all. Don't be talking about me. I went to sleep with my lashes and I'm tired, so we just gonna get through this because Real Housewives of Atlanta really getting on my nerves. This is this is season 13, episode 3, and they're doing too much. So we start out with them talking about Portia and her activism and her takeaway on it. And she talked about this time being on a bridge where she was protesting and they arrested her. And I think at this point they know who she is, the celebrities that are coming forth and doing things. So she was saying that this time she was one of the last ones to be released. And like I said, if you're not doing it for the right reason, it's gonna show, which I think Portia has good intent. You know, I think she's tapped into who she is. She's comfortable with who she is. And I think now that the media knows who she is, she's been doing a lot of press, and so the local police know who she is. And that can get really, really dangerous because especially when they want to make an example out of you. And she talked about how she was in the jail. It was dirty. She was nervous this time and a little bit more scared. And they made an example out of her. They let her be the last ones to leave. And so we just want to make sure, Portia, we're talking to you, that you are doing it for the right reasons, which, like I said, I believe you are. But you have to be very, very careful in your quest for justice when you are a celebrity. So they just do quick like throw-ins of different people. Like Kenya was FaceTiming Marlo, she was doing something. Of course, Cynthia's talking about the wedding, about how all of her guests will be in black, they'll be in gold, it'll be a black, white, and gold affair. And 10 10 20, y'all, 10 10 20. And then they go over to Drew and her family. So Drew has a son, Makai, I think he's 5 years old. She's looking for him because they're making pancakes. They making these bland, white, European pancakes that ain't got no color, probably got no taste, and probably ain't got no good texture. But she's looking for him and she can't find him, so she had to call him on his phone for him to come downstairs for everybody to eat. So I'm like, I get it. My G baby, she has a cell phone, and sometimes to get through to her, I have to call her on phone. It's fun. There's nothing wrong with it. So they show mom working on a sermon, and the title of her sermon is Bridle Your Tongue. And she's writing this towards Drew's husband. She's very, very petty, and she's very, very upfront and in their business. Oh, I look so swole this morning. Be quiet, Katrina, get focused. I haven't had coffee, y'all, so I'm struggling through this morning. But anyway, so we can see off top, even from the first one, that mom and Ralph, they have a issue. Mom is a very old school type of woman, and Ralph is just wants to be this thing he calls an alpha male, which I don't understand what an alpha male is when it's just you. I can see if you were in a group of men and you had to prove your manhood and then you had to be alpha, which means number one, but you're at home. Why do you feel like I'm the alpha male? I need to be the alpha male in my house. It just makes no sense to be in competition with your wife, because most people already know that happy wife, happy life, happy husband, happy wife life. You know, if you're truly in a good relationship, just like me and my husband, it's a give and take. When I'm happy, I'm happy. When we have downtime and I'm not feeling my best, he tries his best to make me happy. Same with him. So it's a give or take. So Ralph has an issue in communicating, and I see that because he lets his anger or his insecurities get the best of him. And so him and mom, and they don't have a good relationship, and then Ralph feels like she's being very disrespectful. Now I will say this, In-laws living with you is a very tricky and touchy situation. And Drew's mom came down from Chicago or Michigan, one of them. But because of COVID, she got stuck there. And I'm not understanding how so many people are getting stuck where they are. It's nothing to get in a car and take her butt back home, especially if it's causing issues. And sometimes people just wear out their welcome, whether they're immediate family, whether they're distant relatives. But you have to know when to hold them, when to fold them. And I think Drew's mom has worn out her welcome. And it's starting to cause major problems in Drew's marriage because she's not stepping up to the plate. You know, my husband and I have always said, you take care of your side, I take care of mine. And it's worked. It's worked. And Drew needs to have a real talk with her mom. But I think Drew hides behind her mom so her mom can say some of the things that Drew wants to say. And I think that's just really it. And so Drew wants Ralph to open up to being able to take criticism. And I'm going to say something about criticism. I remember growing up and people used to tell me, you need to take constructive criticism. What's constructive about it? Because you giving it and you feel like your opinion is more valuable than how I feel. And I don't have to accept your criticism just because you feel like you got a monopoly on age or so-called wisdom. I have a problem with that word wisdom because there are some old fools. And I just don't feel like you have the right to come up and be like, just take constructive criticism. Listen, don't nobody grown have to listen to nobody else grown in their own home give them any type of criticism. If you're in my home and I'm taking care of you, I really need you to keep your 2 cents to yourself. It's just what it is. And I can see that you could tell the roles are out of order in their house, where it should be the husband, the wife, the kids, then others is more so the mom, Drew, the husband, and the kids, and others. And I can understand why Ralph is feeling the way he's feeling. So then we get over to LaToya and Kenya, and they are bestest of friends. And I'm wondering how Cynthia is feeling about that. Like Cynthia said, Kenya has never taken to anybody like that, never opened up. But you got to understand, Kenya is not threatened by LaToya. LaToya, you do need to watch her back, like Marlo said in the last episode. But Kenya is not taking to you just because she's that in love or like your spirit or this, that, and the other. You got something that she could use to her advantage. And going at Drew, where she doesn't have to say a lot of stuff, she's letting LaToya do it, and she's kicking behind her back. And it's just not good. Let's talk about this confessional look of Kenya with these braids. I don't know what she's trying to do. With all the talk she talking about Portia and her activism, is she trying to be power to the people? Because I got my hair wrap on this morning, but it's not because I'm trying to be pro-black, power to the people. I like the look. It's raining here in Memphis. It's cold. I just got my hair done. I don't need my hair to be reverting back to the state that I don't like. I want my hair to hold through the holidays. So I have my hair wrap on. Now, Kenya, it ain't Black History Month. It ain't Martin Luther King birthday. It ain't an anniversary of a civil rights movement. You just in your confessional all Wendy Mandela out like power to the people. And I was like, girl, have several seats, Kenya, because you're doing a little too much trying to prove a point on your blackness. And you don't have to, because you black. You know, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. And I just didn't get it. It didn't go, it didn't flow. It was just horrible. So they fast track over to Kenya and talking about Cynthia's wedding and how things are going. And Kenya is still harping on Drew and his pet wig, which I'm not I know why she's hating on Drew, because Drew is a younger version of her, but more accomplished. Like I said, anybody that comes in as a threat that has an acting career, a modeling career, a movie career, a television series, anything, Kenya has a problem with it. And so Kenya she's just going to be on that girl because she doesn't have Nene. And Portia is paying her dust. So she has to clap on to the next thing she can, which is Drew. And so because it'll look bad, an older cast member going at the young newbie, she's letting LaToya do her dirty work. So LaToya, be very, very careful, because messing with Kenya will get your butt messed up, jacked up, and drug. So you might want to be careful. So, now this is petty of Cynthia. Cynthia gonna ask her, they were talking about Drew's wig again. Tell me, well, what's the wig called? Drewisha. I said, see, Cynthia, now you being petty because you feel like you losing Kenya as a friend, and you see her relationship evolving with LaToya, so now you want to jump in on the kiki ha. But then when you get called to the carpet, don't backpedal now. Don't act like, oh, it was just a joke. Don't do it, because when somebody come at you or come at your man, then it's going to be a problem. So they move on, and so they just talk about, and like I said, there is no flow to this series. They are, my phone shifted. They are all over the place. I mean, there's no flow to the structure of the episodes. You can tell everything was chop, 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 chop. Okay, put this right here, put that right there, put this. It just does not flow. And it throws everything off, because you over here 1 minute, then you come over here to something, and then it's just a clip. Just like they did those clips of Kenya on the phone, or Cynthia talking about this wedding and this. I'm like, why is it so many clips all over the place? So it really, really kind of, you know, it's all over the place. So they show Candy. She's at her house. They're doing a workout. Kenya, Candy, and Cynthia. And they all come talk about all the weight that they've gained through the quarantine. And we get it. Everybody has put on some pounds. I put on 5 pounds that I can't seem to get rid of. They just want to be here with me and love on me, so I'm letting them. So they're outside. They're working out. They're just talking about different things. And Cynthia brings up her wedding. She's talking about 250 people. Kenya like, you trying to do 250 people in a pandemic? Girl, are you crazy? Of course, Candy like, well, don't ask me, because, you know, I don't never follow room. I have lions and tigers and bears in my party. Oh, my, if I could. She was like, so I ain't got nothing to say about it, because Candy had a super spreader event, too. She was down there having a party for Todd. They was doing the dang on thing. And so, like she said, don't ask me, because I'm going to break all the rules. And she did. So, Kenya was, and so they were talking about the prenup. And she was like, yeah, there'll be a prenup. And then Kenya was like, I don't understand the problem with the prenup. You know, when you come in a relationship, was yours, was his, and what you build together, you split down the middle. Then they did a flashback to Candy on her prenup and stuff like that, and how she was doing Todd and different stuff like that. One of the most embarrassing moments on TV for a man. Now, you want to talk about being an alpha male. Candy was an alpha male, and Todd let her ass because he wanted that chick. So he got the chick, he got the kids, and he happy. Really, Todd is like a young white woman. He was like, I'm gonna marry rich, do very well for myself, and then I'm a deuces. So Todd is really hanging in there. I'm surprised. I thought they would have been walking down the divorce aisle by now, but you know, they still good. So, you know, Cynthia was just talking about all the problems with the wedding, and Kenya was like, well, if you had hired me to coordinate, and I was like, Kenya, she don't want you. So, and I think that's one of the reasons Kenya is pulling away from Cynthia and going up and hanging with LaToya, because she's trying to prove something to Cynthia. So they go over to Portia and Lauren. Portia and Lauren pull up at Tanya's house and pick my girl Tanya up. I love Tanya. She brings such energy to the show. I hate that she's gone, but I understand. Tanya has a reputation and a strong, solid following, and she's smart and educated and beautiful. She's a nurse. She's into this tech world. I'm with her. I can't be on this show and you guys are saying disparaging remarks about her with a threesome, some old crazy mess for a show, and she's not holding a peach. And y'all let Kenya do that stuff, but the first time y'all go at Kenya feel like she wrong, then she want to react and act out, and that's just not fair. So they go over to Fallon's house, which is a girl that Portia met, and her husband's named Simon. He has a hookah bar in Atlanta, and he has a restaurant called Simon's. Everybody's talking about how nice it is, and he's really nice. And so they were just talking about different things, and Portia was talking about her honeymoon stage with Dennis, how, you know, it just kind of went left. It started out in a honeymoon stage for the quarantine, then it was like, oh, I can't stand to look at you. I get it. People are frustrated. It's being enclosed with people for so long, and it's not that people say, well, what happened if you got married? But even being married, like my husband and I, we're 21 years in, going on 22 years in. But just being in a house every day, all day, and you can't separate or go anywhere is the issue. Because just like I could go to work, he could go to work, we come home, we miss each other, we talk on the phone. It's just being in your face all the time. It just will drive you crazy. And so she was just talking about how it just quickly just went downhill. And with her being gone with the activism, even though he stepped up as a father for Pilar. She appreciates it. It was just a bit much, so we get it. But as they're talking to Fallon, they're playing jumping in the pool and stuff. Then they cue over, and Fallon's husband, he's an older guy. And he looks like he's probably about 50 some years old. And she looked like she about 23. She looked real young. And he was just sitting out there watching them. And I was like, that's creepy. Why is he sitting out there watching them while they're in the swimming pool in their bathing suits and stuff? And I know they probably felt uncomfortable. But anyway, you know, and they just talked about the movement. And Fallon was talking about how in the South she's experienced it all her life. I'm like, what life? You probably about 23. But anyway, but she's experienced it. And Portia, you know, Portia just talked about the journey and that we're able to do something. Our voices can be heard. Our voices can resonate. Our voices can be a power in the movement. If you can't do anything else, just speak up against it. Talk about it. Make a narrative about it in your homes. Teach your children. Go forth. Do this, do that. So I get it. I really do. I get it. And so they get ready to leave. And when they get ready to leave, Fallon has a gift box for them. You know, I don't know if she's trying to get on the show. I don't know if she has enough depth to her. I think that she may be a little too young for the show. But I liked her energy. She's fun. And I just like those four together. Her, Portia, and Lauren, and my girl, Tanya. That was a good little look. The Kiki was good. The energy was off the chain. Even though it went heavy, they were still able to bring it back. And I like that. And people want to, you know, go after Portia on this show because she's fought people. She's did this. She's done that. But Portia has grown. And you can't always, it's a show. It's a check. So things that she do on the show, you can't hold her accountable in real life because it's a show. It's a show. So, you know. But anyway, it was a good scene for them. And I really like how Portia is just able to express herself. She's not that young, dumb girl that we met. I'm not going to say she's dumb, just miseducated. And that says a lot. You can go to private schools all your life, mostly white schools, and you don't learn anything about your own culture. And it's not that you're dumb, you're stupid. You didn't know if that was the life you were brought up in. And you're just miseducated. We went to school in black schools, and they used to tell us Christopher Columbus founded America. And we believed that all through school. So our conversation was Christopher Columbus founded America. But when you get older and you realize, first of all, there were people already in the United States. How do you find something that's already here and habitated? The Indians were already here, so you didn't find anything. Then we found out he got lost. It took several attempts for him to get over here. And the only way he made it was because he had a black navigator that could read the stars and knew where they were going. So that's what I say about miseducation with the Underground Railroad. She just was miseducated. And she probably never, even though her grandfather talked about it, she probably didn't go to a lot of meetings. She didn't understand. He didn't have time to sit and educate her. But you know, she figured it out later on in life, and we just can't keep holding it over her head. So we get over to Drew, and Drew again is settling down, and they're talking about purchasing this house that's 9,000 square feet. And she's talking about, well, can I talk about the house now? We're buying the house. She really does not know what's going on with the house purchase. And he's like, don't worry about it. I got it covered. She signed something, but she's like, well, I want to be a part of the process. And so being a part of the process, you're like, when we bought houses, both of our incomes had to be a part of it. We had to sign paperwork together. Our credit had to be run together. We were considered as a unit for it. So I don't even understand how she's even kicked out of the process. Are y'all making a cash purchase? Which I don't think they are. And if they are, whose account is it coming out? Is it a joint account? Is it just his money? Is it a separate account? But she knows nothing about what's going on with the house. And her husband is very, very controlling. And, you know, it just speaks, you know, mental abuse. You know, I'm not saying that he's over there putting his hands on her and he's doing all this, but the way he talks to her, the way he treats her, the way he does not involve her is really, really scary. And Drew, you know, and the mom picks up on it. The mom, and that's the problem, because the mom's like, I see how you treat my daughter. I don't like it, and I want it to stop. So I get it. I get it, Mom. And so, Drew, you just need to They talked about counseling, and Drew said she found a counselor. He even got pissed off about that. Oh, so you've already talked to the counselor? She was like, yeah, I set that appointment. Oh, so she already has this narrative of who I am and how I am. And counseling does not work like that. If this is any type of counselor, what she's going to do is listen to both sides, and she's going to give her professional view, unbiased professional view about what she sees and what's going on. So really, he just shot off for no reason. So I'm like, this man has serious problems, and they really need to kind of get it together. So they go over to Cynthia. Like I said, everything was fast tracked, just like the first episode. They put a lot in one episode. Then they're over to Cynthia, Mal, and Mike, and they're talking about the venue. And Cynthia is harping on this venue. She wants this 250 person wedding, and everybody's like, Cynthia, well, what if something happens? And if something happens, then we could just have it at Lake Bailey. Why not just do a small intimate ceremony? She's like, well, I'm 10. So Mike is like, is it the date or is it the wedding? And she's like, it's not the date, but it is the date, Cynthia. You got big ass earrings on, say 10, 10, 20. So it is the date. So what are you talking about? And Mike is like, I just need to know that you want to marry me for me. If something happens and we're still quarantined and we can't have this wedding on 10, 10, 20, are you going to marry me? She's like, I don't know. They're in the car talking about it. He's kind of frustrated with Cynthia because Cynthia is being really, really selfish. And she's doing this dingy white girl thing. I don't know, Mike. I don't know. And he's like, what is it to know? Either you love me, we're going to be together, we're going to do this, we're not. You're going to have to tell me what it is. And so Mike gets fed up with her, which I was kind of getting tired of her anyway. So originally, they were going to have the wedding outside because it was really big property. It was really pretty. And then have that outside. And then they were going to come in and have the reception. But it rained. So we know that it rained. It was canceled for the outside. Everything had to come inside. That's why Bravo didn't film it. Because Bravo wasn't going to put their people in jeopardy. But she still went on with her wedding. Even though she's crying and whining about it. She can't explain herself. And Mike is just over it. They're in a car. He's like, I'm just over it. Because it's about the wedding, Cynthia. Just get it straight. It's about the wedding. And people are like, well, she wants her wedding. She's had a wedding. She married Peter. Whether it was the wedding she wanted or not, she's already had a wedding. So freaking what? That doesn't mean because you spend all this money, have all these people, you're going to have a wedding. My husband and I got married at the courthouse with the kids. Been together going on 22 years. So it's not about the wedding. It's about the love and the connection. If you love me, doesn't matter. We can stand in front of 2,000 people. We can stand in front of this justice as a peace, just our immediate family, and let it be that. So, Cynthia, you reckon our nerves with this, and you had this event. People are saying nobody got sick, but I know they signed a non-disclosure, so even if they did get sick, nobody's going to talk about it. But that's pretty much it. It was just a blah, blah, blah. I don't know, Atlanta Housewives. I don't know if y'all going to be able to pull this season through. It is not looking good. And it's you can barely get it, you know, it's just all over the place. There's no flow. There's no cohesiveness to the storylines. They're just here, there, everywhere. You know, it just makes no sense. The people that have clicked up, the ones that are friends, the ones that are not friends. It's just so much and so many people. It's just a lot, you know. But like, share, and subscribe. Tell me how you feel about the video. Let's remember to do what we need to do per state lines. You know, that's all I got. I'll just talk to y'all later. Bye.